Today, we're going to be ranking the rookie running backs for Dynasty Fantasy Football. We do this every week. We add 3 more running backs into the mix every single week. We re-rank them. And then when it comes to the NFL Draft next week, after every single round, we will be re-ranking the rookies. So when you do your rookie drafts, you have them for your draft. You're ready to go with your rankings. They'll be here on the channel by video, so you're good and set. But make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss those rankings. But we're ranking the running backs today. We're up to around 25 rookie running backs, and we are ranking them into tiers. One by one, we changed the tiers. The rankings are not premeditated. I do them live right now on camera, looking at the players, being like, yep, I saw this on tape, I'm putting him here. I saw that on tape, I'm putting him down here. That's how we're doing it. Last month or so, we've had A1, A2, A3 tiers. Just A1 and A2 this week. I thought the third tier for A3 did not make any sense, and I've been thinking that for a while, but this class is so weird. We do not have a stud tier because there are no studs in this year's draft. It is a very weird running back class. So let's rank it as a weird running back class, but be flexible. There's no C tier. There's a lot of C backs, maybe compared to a lot of years, maybe lower, but there's a lot of flyers too. Let's just rate them as flyers. Let's just value them as flyers in our rookie drafts and just peg them as that. But that being said, let's bring in our first running back off the board. This is at random. Whoever's randomly down below, we're going to pick here. Our first running back that we are selecting here today, or that has been selected for us that we're going to talk about and rank today, Jaylen Wright. I do not have him as an A1 player. I don't know if I can have him as a B player, but when I look at Jaylen Wright, I see a bigger running back with great size adjust athleticism. In the right spot, can be a home run play. A little bit risky on the film, but again, when we're playing Dynasty, sometimes you want to swing for the fence. Even in redraft, we're swinging for the fence with some of our picks. We're looking at him in the second round, probably somewhere in the middle of the second round of rookie drafts. He's got a lot of upside due to the size adjust athleticism. In the right spot, in the right moment, in the right context, you're looking at a running back that could go off. You're also looking at a running back who we're just wishing to happen every single year. That is the realm of possibilities here. And we understand that, but we got to rank that accordingly. So is he a B guy? I think the upside's too grand. But A1, I do not know how to categorize A1 versus A2. They're both like tiers of running backs that could go off. I think I like A1 guys a little bit better than A2. I think A2 seems right for him because he has the gusto to go to the moon, but also he's got the risk to just sit down here. I think A2's fine. You're going to have to pay a little bit in the second round for him. He's going to give you a little gusto. A lot of people are going to be drafting him up. If he goes to a good team, people are going to say he's their guy. Let's put him there. Let's put him there. I feel like that's fair. I think B's a little bit too light in the pants. A2's fine. Let's move on to our next player. We're looking at him right now, Will Shipley. You know he's not A1. Could be B, could be A2. He's more than just a flyer. But when I think of Will Shipley, I think of a running back that has a complete skill set that can be used in the passing game, that has a lot of upside. If you're drafting today right now, there's some risk there, but he's so cheap. A third round rookie pick in mock drafts right now. Sometimes fourth round, but it's rare. You have to be using a simulator that's broken, like on Fantasy Bros. You have to be using that, or you got to be drafting with jabronis. But the third round, late second round is his range. That's the real range that I'm really seeing in mock drafts. Will Shipley has a lot of upside. A lot of people are talking him up. Big time recruit coming out of high school. Went to a Clemson offense that was not firing on all cylinders, but he's a running back that can get it done between the tackles a little bit, but can also get it done a little bit in the passing game. So when I think about him, a B tier if you don't like him. I like him though. I like his skill set. I like the value. I think in the right situation can give you a lot of upside. The difference between him and Jaylen Wright, Jaylen Wright's probably going to get better draft capital. Jaylen Wright has more upside due to the size and just athleticism. Will Shipley, A little bit more complete. A little bit better in the passing game. Might be a little bit safer too. Situation's going to be matter between these two players. I'm going to keep them there. I'm going to keep them right around there. And we're going to be fluid, so it doesn't matter. That's what tiers are for. You want to be fluid with these players. You want to be fluid with these rookies. You also want to diversificate. You want to move on from players once you get too many assets. Once you're over 20-25% of your roster construction, you got to move on to a different player, especially if you're playing portfolios. That's why we're doing tiers. That's why. So you're not ending up in tiers later. Come on down, Audric Estimé. Where are you going to be? I said a lot of stuff about you, good and bad, but that's because I like to stay objective. He's not the fastest running back in the class. He failed the combine. He failed the 40. That happened. That's real talk. But he also has tape of him pulling it away. He also has tape of him making guys miss. He moves laterally very well, has great vision, has great power. Honestly, blow for blow, he's a great running back, a very good running back prospect. The 40 does impact his draft capital, or could impact his draft capital. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's very productive. Just got to see where he goes in the draft and who selects him. Right situation, and you know what? He goes off. He goes off just like any other running back in this class. So if anyone's blowing him off due to the 40 time, you got to unsubscribe. You got to get rid of him. Anybody going over the moon due to the production, same difference, because you know what? He could go both ways with this player. But the thing about him, though, he's too good to put down here. And there is some red flags with his receiving production. Size of just athleticism. But we do have the size. We do see him run very well between the tackles. And the second level, man, puts his foot in the ground, moves laterally, instantly. Zero drift, makes guys miss. Makes guys miss as if he's like 180 pounds. Right situation, he could be a top 5 running back in the league. And he could be a guy that blows up for a few games, for half a season, that you can sell in Dynasty, even if he gets drafted in like the 4th round. That being said, A2. A2. Not enough for A1, but enough to compete with these guys. Enough to compete with those guys. But our next running back coming off the board, Kendall Milton. He doesn't fit there, but he's a bigger running back prospect, has some upside. He's a flyer. He's a flyer. We're waiting for the draft. We're going to see what happens. He's a guy you're watching on the back end of a depth chart. See if he moves up. See if he gets promoted. See if attrition hits his team. See if he gets some opportunity. Big-time prospect coming out of high school like a lot of these guys. He does have some opportunity between the tackles. Can grind it out. If he goes in the right spot, could be it. He's a flyer for now. He's going to be a late-round flyer in your drafts. He's going to go 4th round, undrafted, 5th round, wherever at in your rookie draft. He's a running back to take a stab at. But our next guy that we're looking at here, Isaac Garando. Size adjusts athleticism for days. The tape's not too great, but the combine was great. Good indicator here that he could give you some upside. He's a flyer. I kind of like him due to the size adjusts athleticism. But honestly, I'm really watching where he goes in the draft and who selects him and the pathway to opportunity. My flyer, though, I'll keep looking at him. But moving on, Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving's one of those players that's a mystery box. He failed the combine, poor size adjust athleticism, but he passes everywhere else. On tape, he's great between the tackles, catching the ball in the backfield. You can use him out in the slot, outside a little bit. He's a good receiving threat, a multifaceted player. So when you look at him, you can't put him in A1. He failed the combine. That size adjust athleticism says, hey, upside's not really there. A2 and B. Those are the spots for him. I think he's too much to be just a flyer. I think if you're looking at him as a flyer, he's getting drafted. A2B, A2B. I think Audric Estimé with the size, I think he's a better play. I think Will Shipley, I like him a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more dynamic. He's got better size, just athleticism. Jaylen Wright, just a swing for the fence play that you gotta love. I think B's great for Bucky Irving. I think that's fine. I think it's a fine spot, and you gotta start off with B somewhere. Moving on down, Isaiah Davis coming up. I like him between the tackles. I think he's got some upside there. I think with Isaiah Davis, I think he can give you something in day 3 of the NFL draft. Could be a good guy on the back end of your roster for an NFL team, for a dynasty team. You're watching him. You're seeing if he moves up the depth chart, see if he gets the opportunity. Could be a sneaky play because he runs with some pop in the second level. He's a flyer that I'm watching. He's a flyer that I'm watching, keeping my eyes on. He could be just a flyer after the draft, but I'm watching very hard, and everybody's drafting him as a flyer, so let's rank him as a flyer. Next, Dylan Labe. Talking about a flyer here or an upside guy. Maybe he's a B-tier guy. Maybe he is. Catches the ball great out of the backfield, has speed to burn, small schooler, day 3 guy. Could really turn things around in the right situation if he gets that opportunity. You're watching him for the pathway because he can ignite an offense with that speed. He can be used in the passing game. I can't see him getting opportunity early. I can't see him getting day 2 draft capital or be snuck into early day 3. He's a flyer. One of my top flyers. I like him ahead of Grando. I think it's more like this. I think it's more like that with my flyers if I had to rank my flyers. But we're moving on here. Braylon Allen, come on down. Braylon Allen, a bigger running back prospect with a lot of upside, broke out as a freshman, as we all know. One of the younger running backs in college football and in the NFL. He's going to be a guy that's going to get some opportunities. There are some landing spots that are very intriguing. If he goes to a team with a pass-catching specialist and he's the banger, that might be the most optimal. He could also get it done between the tackles. He does not run to his size. He does not have that burst. But once he taps into that long speed, he'll pull away a little bit. But he's not a burner. He's not a home run threat. But he's very smart. He's got good vision. He can get it done between the tackles. He's going to get okay draft capital. I think he's more of an A2 guy. I think he's more than B. I think he's more like an A2. He can't be an A1. I can't see him pushing the top tier here. But I think we're going to see a running back here that could get some opportunities at the NFL level that you shouldn't discount too much. Just pay attention to him. I do like the production profile. Moving on here, Tyrone Tracy. Woo! I like him a lot. Runs with a lot of pop. Could be a scary guy in drafts. I like him as one of my top flyers. I sure do. I'm watching him. I'm watching him where he goes. He's going to be a day 3 guy more than likely. In day 3 in the right situation. Watching him in training camp. Watching him move up the depth chart. He's a guy we're paying attention to for the long term. Ray Davis. What I like about Ray Davis, he's very strong between the tackles. Can really get it done. If he gets the opportunity to get a large workload, he could take over. He could. He's got that upside. Maybe early day 3, late day 2 type of back. He's a back that could be a sneaky player. I think I have him in B tier. I think he's great for B tier. I think he makes sense there. Like if I put him in A2, his profile doesn't really stack up to his. Audric Estimé, it was more prolific. It's easy to say that. Will Shipley, more multifaceted. Jaylen Wright is the home run swing. Put him up here with Bucky Irving. I think we're good here in this tier, and we'll see what the draft does for us. Moving on down, Dylan Johnson. Catches the ball well at the backfield. We got some size. We're seeing where he goes. Could be a sneaky play here. Right around here. In this range here. He's a flyer. He's a flyer that I like. He's a flyer that I'm looking for in the latter rounds of rookie drafts. And the thing is, if I rank flyers like A, B, C, D, E, F, G and just go up and down with them, I might get things twisted for what you're thinking on the context. And they're just flyers. I'm just randomly drafting them in the 4th round of rookie drafts. That's where they're going to be at. So if I'm giving them these weird tiers here, J, F, J, or whatever, you're just going to be thinking different things with them. They're random guys here in the back end of your draft. Pick your poison. That's what these guys are. Even in the main flyer tier. That's what it is. That's what Dynasty is. That's what the rookie draft is. That's what it says with Frank Gore Jr. He's got the gusto. He's got the genes. We're watching him. Could be a sneaky play in the end of the NFL draft. He's a flyer, but he's my flyer. I like him. I'm watching him. But Blake Corum, come on down. Where do you rank him? Where does he stack up? To me, he's a lunch pail running back. I think he's got some juice. He's got some gusto. Can be used in the passing game a little bit. Can be used between the tackles. Do you want to rely on him as your main squeeze as an NFL running back? No, but you don't have to here in 2024. The thing is, in Dynasty, right spot, the right spot might be the Chargers. It might be the Chargers. It might end up with Baltimore or something like that. It's going to be one of those weird spots. He's a lunch pail guy. He's going to get that use. He's very productive 2 years ago, and I love that about him. I'm putting him in A1. He's up there with some of the top running backs that I like in this year's class. We got to move on here. Cody Schrader. Woo, productive in the SEC. A guy that I'm watching. He's a flyer for me. Size adjust, athleticism, all that stuff. We're watching out for Schrader. We're keeping an eye on him, but he's a flyer in the back half of drafts. That's it. He's just a flyer. Moving on, Vital. Vital is a flyer that I like. He's definitely going to be in the flyer tier. Put him in there. He's got some pop in the step. Can really help you out in the right situation. Rasheen Ali. He's a flyer as well, but I'm not really drafting him, so he's down here. He's down there. He's going to stay down there. But Marshon Lloyd, come on down. Good size-adjusted athleticism, but it's not all about the combine. He can catch the ball in the backfield, too. Looked good at the Senior Bowl. He looks good on tape. I think we got a lot of upside with him. That being said, he's an A1 guy for me. He's going to stay there. He's one of my favorite running backs in this class. I think he's going to get day 2 draft capital. Now, Trey Benson. He is one of my favorite running backs in the class, too. I've been moving him up between A2 and A1. Start off in A2. Now he's back up to A1. Really, start off in A1, A2, then back up to A1. That's where I'm going to put him up. And that reason why, size adjust, athleticism, the production, the draft class overall, a lot of upside. I think he's going to get draft capital in day 2. He's a guy that I want to take some bets on. Might get early round 2 draft capital in rookie drafts, maybe late round 1. Really depends on how everything shakes out. But honestly, I'm shooting for that upside. Another running back that we're looking at in this year's class, Jonathan Brooks. Brooks was here. And I think if it weren't for the ACL, when we're talking about Jonathan Brooks, I think he'd be hands down the RB1. But the ACL is real. That did happen. We got to work around that. We got to peg around that. I have him in A1. Just how fluid he is. A good athlete. Catches balls out of the backfield. Very dynamic. I think he's got a ton of upside. I think he's still going to get draft capital, which cements him as a top back in this class. He would be hands down the RB1 in this class if he did not have the ACL injury. The 3 new running backs this week. Jace McClellan here. He has some size. He can run it between the tackles. A guy that I'm paying attention to, but I'm looking at him as a flyer. One of the top flyers in the class. Amani Bailey. Looked good at the Senior Bowl. Can run it between the tackles. Top flyer in the class. What the hell? Myron Williams. There's some people that like him. There's not a lot of people who are willing to perk up for him, say things for him. At Ohio State, during the times when Travion Henderson was hurt, he was the back. He took over. He can run it between the tackles. He could be a good guy on the goal line. If I'm drafting him as a running back or picking him up in free agency after the draft as an NFL team, I'm happy to have him to see what he's got, see what he can do for me. When I look at him as a flyer, I'm just doing that. I'm looking at him as a flyer. He could be a sneaky flyer. He could be a sneaky guy. Pay attention to him because he's a smart grinder. The upside's not there, but if there's a guy that could sneak up on us that people are ignoring, that could be him. But I'm not super excited either. It's not an indictment or anything. But again, people aren't talking about him because the profile's not sexy. He's not sexy. But again, not everybody has to be sexy, especially at the running back position to hit. But those are the ranks for right now. We'll have more running backs in. We'll do one more before the draft. And then during the draft and after the draft, we'll give you a slew of these so you're ready for your drafts. That means you got to hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.